dear Sean, fuck you, bloody.
Hello and fuck off. This is the 3T RPG podcast and my name is Harrison Hunt. With me is James Clark.
Good day to you.
And it's the birthday lad. Sean, you're 38 today. It's Sean Hunt.
Thank you.
Sean Hunt, the absolute run.
Go on in.
So, yeah, that's right. This is an RPG podcast. And so we got feedback, we got news punch, we got what we've been slaying, and the main subject which we're going to be doing. Now, Sean, I thought I'd surprise you with this. Right? This is part of your punishment. Right,
family-friendly games.
Well, that's what I wrote on the plan. That's what I told Sean. We're doing family-friendly RPGs, but we're doing the most thorough, in-depth review of Savage Pathfinder, and you're going to be doing it.
But I haven't written anything down.
Yep. Well, maybe you should. No, well, maybe you should have thought about that before you did nothing for months. So yeah, Sean's going to be doing Savage Pathfinder today. Look forward to that, ladies and gentlemen.
I didn't think.
And then, of course, we're going to end with the Electro Letters segment. So Sean, you got that to look forward to? All the fans are excited about this. You ran a campaign, so you know it.
That's pretty much it. You run a campaign, you know the thing, what you did.
So you have to get about 40 to 50 minutes of content about Savage Pathfinder out.
Alright, sweet.
Shall we do some feedback?
Yeah.
The feedback side. The feedback side.
Yeah.
First one comes in from Illithid. He simply shares a picture of a skeleton sitting at a waiting table, like a waiting room. And it says, waiting for an episode where Sean is an actual participant.
I mean,
now, Sean, you participate as in you turn up and you say you agree with James. But recently I was listening to, so last episode, right, we did, what was it, How to End a Campaign, and you've ended a campaign recently that was very good. And obviously,
it's one of the nicest endings, as we spoke about.
Well, and listeners, they wanted to hear about your techniques because you're talented, but you brought nothing except for get, fly, high, whatever. You just
but like,
all right. I wrote that in.
Yeah, but it was I wrote shorthand and gave the bullet points. Harrison added the words. But the point was for you to edit it.
You did absolutely nothing. And then there was the previous one as well where we talked about, what was it?
Prepare for a campaign.
It was how to kill your players and get away with it.
Oh, yeah.
Sean, you just basically said, I agree with everything James just said.
Oh, that was a low point, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, but then you did it again the next episode.
Well, I did. Sorry, guys.
But seriously,
but
seriously, you've got to start doing something.
I've smashed it in certain episodes, but maybe
I'm genuinely trying to think of ones where you may have smashed it.
Any of Sean's fans?
There was just silence there from Sean.
And I've asked for the fans who can't immediately answer us.
Yeah, I mean, it's rough.
I'm that cool guy.
And so
at the con, I'm like the cool guy at the table.
Yeah, you're above all of this, and you don't even give a shit anymore. Like, yeah, I get it. You've got celebrity now. You're on here, and you've become too big for your boots. But your face ain't big for the boot. So yeah, but there are punishments that are going to be laid upon you today, i.e. the main subject, e.g. something else that we're going to surprise you with.
I thought I was getting a vinegar in us.
Yeah, well, the thing is, James has devised the punishment, and I was going to go really cruel with it, but he's gone a bit less cruel, and
cool. Bit less,
that'll be another surprise. So you've got the main subject, and you've got that. Now, another thing is that Illithid, he last episode, he sent in an electro letter talking about how he has to spend an hour recapping his game before he even gets into it, and he just wishes his players would.
Yeah. That was upsetting to hear.
Yeah, they would just take notes. It turns out, we said that he's probably exaggerating for effect, right? And he says this: I resent the doubt laid upon me in the new episode. We started at about 11:30 and finished the recap at 1:45. Harrison did mention what I think is one problem. We play bi-weekly and no one takes notes during play because it's hard to write and pay attention. I'm just irritated because we talked about it being a very complicated campaign during session 0 and they all said it was what they wanted.
So now, it's really complicated. It's what they wanted, but none of them are bothering to remember where they're at so that they can continue.
See, I don't think they understood what he meant by complicated, because what he's doing is he's running I think it's a Call of Cthulhu campaign called the Masks of Nyarlathotep.
Masks of Nyarlathotep.
Nyarlathotep.
That's a good one.
It's a good one, but the thing is, it's very complicated. It has a lot of threads to follow. It's got loads of handouts, all of this.
Yeah, Call of Cthulhu is definitely, especially if you're running from one of those books, it's one of the more complicated.
It can be, yeah. And I think probably... Now, I've got two theories about this. Either he said it's going to be complicated and they thought that they could handle it and they can't, or they didn't have any idea how complicated it was going to be. They probably thought, well, it'd be in-depth game mechanics and, you know, it would be a semi-complicated campaign with few characters to follow, not like hundreds of threads that we all have to remember. Spending an hour recapping is just not good. But I can't... see, the thing is the only thing I will say is that he's going to have to... The only advice I can possibly give is that he's going to have to talk to his players again and just say, look, is this too complicated to what you actually imagined?
Yeah.
If so, shall we take a rain check and run something else?
Or at the end of every session, like, you have to get summary from everyone, and that summary will mean that they'll retain it more.
That's a great idea, yeah. Just say but I wonder how to do it without sounding patronising, though, because, you know, if you got to the end of each episode and you went, right, what did we learn?
No, just go like, right, guys, let's recap.
Yeah. Right, so to recap, here are the main points. Maybe write it on a tiny whiteboard or something.
Yeah.
Well,
and then take a picture and put it on the group.
With Cthulhu, we've at the end. I mean, I think especially with Call of Cthulhu, you're going to need a nudge from the GM a lot in the game.
But then it is a bit strange because I don't think if you've read any Lovecraft stories, right? They're not that complicated in terms of mysteries. They're nothing more complicated than, say, an Agatha Christie novel, right?
No.
But for some reason, these big world-spanning campaign modules, they tend to be complicated because I guess that's the way you keep a campaign like that going. But it's... I don't know, man. I don't know what the solution... I think you just need to... If it were me, I'd call it a day, or I'd do what James said and just, recap at the end of each session.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's,
maybe include a list of bullet points as to what happened on the group. But then he did mention its players don't read that anyway.
Well, that's what you used to do at the end of when we played a long campaign in Call of Cthulhu. You're like, well done, guys, you did this. Next time we'll get to this.
Yeah, I suppose so, yeah. And
it's hard.
Also, another thing is, in the campaign that we're playing at the moment with MCC... I wouldn't say it's complicated, but in a world where you can do pretty much anything, at the end of each session, I will say, right, what are your goals for the next one? Although I did forget to do that this week. Although, no, actually, you were midway through a dungeon, so it doesn't really count. But you could do that, end each game by going, right, this is what we got done. Where do you want to go next game? What do you want to do? And then maybe that will help them to keep it in their mind because they'll look forward to what they've already planned for the next episode. Then it gives him a manner in which he can plan as well.
It does, yeah.
But also, we've been watching Happy Valley recently, and that is written in such a way where often the characters will go, somebody will be like, oh my god, that bloody chuffing criminal's out of jail again. What, the one who raped your daughter? And then she's like, yeah, that one. And then it'll be
he raped her fucking blind.
So he raped her right up the chuff. And then, so something like that maybe... Like the characters in universe sort of saying like that.
Yeah, their interactions.
So when somebody says to them, oh my god, the great grub Thubnub is about to be summoned, and then somebody will go, what, the demonic monster of that cult that you've been dealing with has been summoning this whole time?
Yeah, that could be a way around it.
To be honest,
I mean, it's not elegant, but it's a way around it.
It's time to call it a day on Call of Cthulhu.
Call it a day. Just fucking play D&D, mate.
Yeah,
exactly.
Maybe just play D&D or something.
No, I think try James's advice, try my advice, see what happens.
Call of Cthulhu.
And then if all else fails, take Sean's advice and just play D&D.
Yeah.
Alright, next one comes in from Pistachio Cultist of Sean. He says, get high and fly, He said, feedback. Sean is the best thing to happen to this crummy podcast since Harrison downloaded a pirated copy of Fruity Loops.
Yeah.
I want to say, for legal reasons, that copy of Fruity Loops 9 is not pirated. And the reason I haven't got the update is not because I didn't buy it legally, it's because I don't want it.
You don't want it. You don't want to.
Don't need it. Don't need it, mate.
Don't need it, mate. Go for it,
features.
For wimps. Features are for wimps.
Yeah, that's right. Features are for microphones are for wimps. That's a fact.
Anyway,
All you want to do is ride around Sally.
what are you doing?
I just having a little sing-song. Fucking hell. Bargle the Infamous, he says, I just bought Savage Pathfinder and my first impressions are that it's strong on the things that D&D is weak at. The party is trying to escape from a room with a locked trapdoor while water is beginning to pour in, and the instructions for disabling the lock on the trapdoor are written in ancient runes. And the weak on the things that D&D is strong at, the ogre now has 83% as many hit points as he did last round. Go into some detail on your experiences with running traditional dungeon fantasy systems in other than D&D/Pathfinder might make for an interesting discussion.
I mean, like, sort of like DCC and stuff.
Well, no, that is D&D though, isn't it? It was D&D based.
Yeah, we've done Savage Worlds fantasies.
I think Savage Pathfinder, we've done a lot of traditional dungeon crawls in your campaign.
Yeah, definitely.
And I think the way in which, like he says, the things that he's strong at is I think because of in Savage Worlds you have extras, which are essentially if they take one wound they die, and then you got wild cards, which Sean was trying to make everything a wild card for some reason.
That was,
and those take
based on size, though.
No, it isn't based on size.
Like you got like if you look at it, there's a lot of like we'll get to this in the main subject.
Yeah, like beholders and that. Yeah, they have 3 wounds. But they're campaign level enemies.
And like,
you tried to say that clay golems.
Like phoenixes. Well, clay golems wouldn't.
A phoenix should be a wild card. It's a phoenix, bro.
yeah.
You were like, this goblin, man, he's got a deep backstory.
What about the clay monster or the slug? To be like,
there's giant slugs. Yeah, definitely.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Sean, a slug has never been the main character of anything.
Wind. One extra wind. Like, it's not main character. Sometimes it's like deadliness.
But I tell you what it is that a lot of people like to have dungeons that are populated with a lot of monsters and a lot of minor fights. But in D&D, rolling initiative takes fucking ages. And in Savage Worlds, you just deal a bunch of cards. And it made those minor encounters much more palatable. It wasn't like every single thing needed to be a big fucking hoo-ha about getting into a fight, drawing out the map, things like this. It was just, I felt like it did the quickness and the exploration a lot better, and then when it came to the big fights, they lasted longer, and I like that.
Definitely.
You're slicing through the minor enemies, taking a couple of wounds here and there, but it's like much more... It does the very thing that D&D does, but without the faff. It's when it comes to combat.
Because of how the system lends itself to the battles, and that's exactly why I think they happen like that. Yeah, like you say, small enemies, because I can't
Ebenezer Scrooge.
Can't get dispatched real quick, and then the large ones take a lot longer. Well, and sometimes.
Sometimes.
Yeah,
I mean, in Sean's campaign, you're going to end up fight some enemies and end up in hospital like pretty often. But I feel like that's pretty much the thing it does better than anything else. And also Savage Worlds, because it's got bennies and it's got loads of really cool edges, it means that everyone has a unique fighting style. Like all fighters roughly in D&D are just hitting things. You might have a few feats and things like this, but ultimately the edges, they come quicker and more often in Savage Worlds. So it feels like you were building up a unique fighting style right from the beginning. I mean, I've never seen a character in a game who's a wizard with a staff get more kills than the wizard in Solomon Kane, just with his staff, because spellcasting is something that takes time in Solomon Kane, not so much in Pathfinder. But it's like that guy, if you get a lucky roll in Savage Worlds, it means you can kill someone with something. Do you know what I mean? And I've heard Eric Lamoureux put it like in the film Casino, where Joe Pesci kills somebody with a pen. It's a little bit like that. It's like it's probably not going to work, but if you're lucky enough, you could kill somebody with a weapon like that.
Well, how about like the other character builds, such as having a dwarf barbarian who's so nimble, he has the highest pace out of anyone in the team. And you expect he's a fat oaf with he's meant to be a brute force.
Tiny legs as well.
Yeah, and he's just like...
But he knows how to use them.
He was quite tall for a dwarf, but he still had the stub.
He was only tall for a dwarf because we had a miniature that looked tall. That's the only reason that you say that. It's not actually...
Okay.
My miniature was smaller than his because I was using a dwarf miniature. Confusing, very confusing.
Yeah.
But yeah, I feel like in a lot of ways it speeds things up, and it really gives that feel like in D&D, really you're only going to be swashbuckling and doing cool shit if the DM or your characters describe it in that way.
Yeah.
In Savage Worlds, like, we had somebody that had the combat adaptability edge or whatever the fuck it's called, and it meant that he could get one-time uses of edges during combat, and it was like pretty much
anyone's edges from any class as long as it's on the same level.
So he could use first strike, counter-attack, sweep, all of these things, which made him like a really adaptable fighter, which meant that he was fighting like you see in the movies, not just describing it like you see in the movies. A lot better.
And there's that perfect amount of crunch as well.
Yeah, that's right. And I feel like D&D, especially 5e, can have a lot of crunch. DCC less so, but then there are some bits that is still slower than games like Savage Worlds or things like that.
Yeah, okay. Oh, yeah.
Oh, you know what time it is, ladies and gentlemen, when you hear that noise.
That means it's the interrupting Sean quiz.
That's right. Sean James has prepared a fantastic quiz for you.
Cool.
This is part of your punishment, but of course everyone knows what that sound means.
Right, good. So I just need to lay down the rules, and they're simple.
Yeah.
You have to pick one answer.
Sean, shut up. That's the normal jingle we always play when we do this segment. Don't do that because you're interrupting the...
Mate, that's wicked. Right, rules are simple. Pick one answer out of those presented within 2 seconds. That is all.
Right, so James,
You
question
ready?
1.
Sean, listen
Hang on,
closely.
let me play the jingle that means we're on question 1.
I'm listening.
Right. Do you think the Earth is A, portrait, or B, landscape?
No. Portrait.
Right.
Sean,
Answered.
you're such a conspiracy nut, man. That is so stupid.
Right.
That is such a stupid
good.
answer.
I didn't have the proper
You're an
answer.
Yeah,
idiot.
good. Right, Sean.
Next question.
Next question.
Alright. Is that good noise?
No. In 2003, Avril Lavigne,
Yeah.
was she A, killed and replaced by a clone, or B, died and replaced by her body double, Melissa Vandella?
Killed and then replaced by a body double.
Sure,
Killed
God,
and that's
why
what
do you
is an
always
answer.
bring up this conspiracy stuff, man?
That wasn't even an answer.
You are
Those,
That's the idiot alarm.
That was
Why do you always bring this
that
stuff
was
up?
basically the same answer.
It's not the same answer.
How is it the same answer?
One is murdered and the other one
One's
has
a
just
clone.
died.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
One's a clone, the other one's a body double.
Yeah, I think she
They're
died.
completely different. You're always bringing this stuff up.
So Avril Lavigne's Melissa, right? I'll
Such
call
an
you
idiot.
conspiracy. So, do you think the government use HAARP, the High Frequency Active Oral Research Program,
Oh, do you
to
know-
control the weather, or they're using chemtrails to poison and control our levels of
Very
population?
good question. Very good question.
I mean, it's not really like the chemtrail.
No, there's just 2 answers.
The top
Choose
one.
one.
Pick
the top one.
So they're using HAARP to control the weather.
Oh, for goodness sake.
Fucking
Sean, that is
conspiracy.
you're such a conspiracy nut, man. Why'd you...
No, but like,
Oh,
no,
they're using HAARP
right,
to
good.
control the weather.
Right, and that's it.
Alright, cool.
That's it.
Shall we get on to the news?
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think we
because I
should.
remember when Jesse Ventura went
no,
to
no,
HAARP.
no. Sean,
She'll stop
enough.
bringing up conspiracies all the time. Fuck's sake. Right, let's do the news.
Oh, yeah, news punch.
Pirate Borg does a racist.
Yeah, so basically, Limithron, the creator of the pirate-themed Morkborg supplement, Piratesborg, apologises for a racist monkey caricature in book. That was a headline that was on Reddit, but then it linked to the apology. This is available on Kickstarter.
Yeah.
So basically, and in our opinion, Luke Stratton, who is from Limithron LLC, accidentally did a racist in Morkborg's latest instalment and new addition to the collection, Piratborg. He created a creature called the Rope Monkey, who was drawn hunched over with the rope-like dreadlocks and was of African descent. The statement on Piratborg's Kickstarter is very well and clearly, sincerely written, states that while he was trying to be super inclusive and diverse, his
He
depiction...
called a black man a monkey.
Exactly. His depiction of a historical term for rigging monkey was a complete oversight. So he messed up massively. But since then, they've hired a sensitivity reader to review the entire book.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
They're changing the name to Deck Ghoul, updating the book everywhere, and offering free text stickers and playing cards online and at conventions. And they're offering replacement copies of the second printing of the book for free, and only asking for postage and packaging to be paid for.
So I imagine that this racist one will be worth a lot of money then.
No, probably not, because Pirate Borg is not big enough. See, I do think that he's trying to take steps in the right direction, but the idea of having a diversity reader is stupid as fuck. Like, if you really,
I think they have to do it now to the social media. They have to say that they're doing it. They definitely are doing it, because I feel it's sincere. But it's a case
it might just be getting a mate to have a once over.
Yeah.
But the idea that they're so insensitive that they can't figure out. I will say, I think looking at the picture, it does look like it. Okay, it could be interpreted that it's a black man, but it doesn't necessarily look like one. No. What it looks like to me is that it was drawn
like made out of wood.
Or it was like a sort of scratchy style of artwork that can be interpreted like a number of ways. Like, it's a bit edgy. But I looked at it and I didn't immediately think black guy, but then you could think that.
Well, and I see the word rope monkey above his head.
But all it meant is monkey as in.
Well, the Riggin monkey was the original historical term, wasn't it?
Right. So the point is that all he was doing was using a historical term. I don't think the intent was there to be racist in any way. It was complete accident, a stupid mistake. But I suppose he's now trying
to really dumb oversight.
Really dumb oversight.
But it's good, like they're getting it out there like quickly and doing all this like really fast and not doing.
I think giving free copies of the second printing
I
is
quite like the idea of those text stickers and stuff, because it's like you can just choose to stick it over the top, and you're also getting those playing cards that they're dishing out at conventions. So you can just walk up to their table and say, "Can I have a Deck Ghoul card, please?" And then
is Deck Ghoul any better though, really?
Well, it's because of the style of art. They're keeping the art style because it's done.
Yeah.
But they're just renaming it and then just printing it like that.
Yeah, I don't know. I think intention-wise, I don't think it was bad. And I think they're trying to make good on it. It seems a little bit sort of. It's a little bit cringe the manner in which they're doing it, but it's also kind of cool that they are sort of just making shit and going, here, have this. Let's sort it out.
Yeah, I do like the efforts.
Yeah, you can't knock it. You really can't. But it is quite funny, the mistake that they made.
I mean, it's hilarious.
Really, calling a black person a monkey, that is really the biggest mistake you could possibly make.
I mean, it's even written in the actual full statement on the Kickstarter. It says, even after, I drew them like blah, 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 like this, and even after that point, writing this now, I cannot believe I did not see it.
He was probably just writing the thick of writing and just wasn't thinking straight. Yeah. Like it was just all getting out there. But yeah, fair enough. I mean, what can you do? He's made a mistake. He's owned up to it, and it's good. I actually think, but I've got problems with Pirate Borg, because why is it called Pirate Borg for starters? So it means pirate fort.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, that's
stupid. It should be
Cyborg was,
It should be.
That was good.
Yeah, because that makes sense.
Yeah.
But it should be Mork boat. I mean, what's the Norwegian for boat?
Should be like Mork aboard. Like
Mork aboard.
All aboard the Mork Borg.
All aboard the Mork Borg.
All aboard would be good.
That would actually be good. Yeah. That would be good. I mean, it would still make no sense, but it would be better.
All aboard is more for trains, isn't it? All aboard.
All right, well, we're copywriting that idea right now. It's Pirate Borg, but it's train-based.
Oh, that'd be cool.
It would be cool, but imagine trying to board another train, because typically they're only really sort of single track.
No, in the game you can only Borg stuff.
A Borg, you're getting Borging. But no, what I'm thinking is, in like ship battles when they try to get sort of like T-bone other ships and fire the cannons.
Yeah.
Imagine trying to do that in a train. How hard that would be. Be like, the track doesn't deviate until we get to Derby, so we're really gonna have to wait here. And the two trains, they're just leaning out the window, shaking their fists.
Yes, exactly.
In about 5 hours you're fucked. Copyright. What would we call it though? Oh yeah, All Aboard. Yeah, All right.
Good.
Copyright.
Next
That is it for
installment.
news. Shall we do some what we've been slaying?
Yeah, boy.
One of these. Oi, yeah. What you slaying?
Obviously, we've been playing Mutant Cruel Classics recently. Started up a sort of, what would you call it? Like an open world sandbox campaign of MCC. I personally think it's very enjoyable, but. Oh, you know what time it is!
Why does this keep happening? It's horrible. Alright.
It's time for the second round of the quiz, ladies and gentlemen.
That's it. Shorthand.
Conspiracy.
Shorthand.
Let's go.
Right.
Alright.
Same rules.
I'm ready for it.
Same rules apply.
These noises sort of jar, like, sort of like,
I wish everyone could
Not
actually
helping.
see Sean's face.
I can't really.
Sean, these are the noises we always do for this segment. Why do you keep on going on about it like it's a big
Well,
deal?
Right.
I've never.
Sean,
I've
ears up,
listened.
ears
Yeah.
up, nose
Up.
down. Right. The Twin Towers
Yeah.
fell due
What
to a
about-
controlled explosion, or
Yeah.
NORAD deliberately ordered their fighter jets to stand down and let the hijacked planes reach their targets.
I know the answer.
Quicker.
It's obvious.
Quicker.
Quick.
Controlled explosion or NORAD leniency.
NORAD leniency.
Oh, for goodness sake.
Fucking
I mean,
Sean and his conspiracy thinks.
that's the conspiracy chainsaw. I mean, Christ.
No, mate.
Sean, why do you always have to...
Why can't it be
but see-
both?
Why
do you
can't
mean-
there be... What?
What do you mean?
That's
what do you
not an
mean?
option, Sean.
That's not even the option. That wasn't even in like
fair.
James is no. I'm really fucking pissed off actually because James is coming with a perfectly normal quiz and you have to bring it down to conspiracy shit.
Yeah, I
But
can't
they're
believe
both
it.
conspiracy answers.
What do you mean?
What are you talking about, Sean?
what's-
You're such a
Right, you ready for question 5?
Question
That's
5.
Question 5. The moon landing was filmed A, high in the Hollywood Hills, or B, in Area 51.
Good question. Good question.
Quicker.
Well, it's
Quicker.
filmed in Stanley Kubrick.
No,
basement.
no, it's not an answer.
That's not even an answer on there.
High in
Sean.
Hollywood Hills or Area 51.
Hollywood Hills.
Conspiracy alert.
stupid
Sean,
answer, isn't
that is a stupid answer,
well
and you're an
silly.
idiot for thinking it.
Yeah.
Why do you? The thing is, right? He's put a lot of effort into this,
Yeah.
and you're making a mockery of it by
Absolute
talking about.
Yeah, but they're both.
Oh, like I reckon that Al Qaeda done it. What are you talking about?
Yeah, but those are both shit answers.
reckon-
Oh, George Bush.
Well, you're the one who
Sean,
answered it, Sean.
He hasn't been in power for ages. Stop going on about him.
Yeah, but like, yeah.
Right, question 6. The British royal family, aka lizard people,
Yeah,
drink
right.
blood to keep up their appearances, or simply change shape as they are shape-shifting interdimensional reptilians.
Neither of those. Really.
No, there's only 2 answers, Sean.
Because they like
Blood or shape-shifting
just have all
aliens.
the
Sean, just pick
resources.
one of the answers.
Blood or aliens.
reptilians. Yeah,
Oh, so aliens.
aliens. Yeah.
Oh, right.
That's ridiculous. No, that's ridiculous. They're neither, obviously,
mean,
because neither of those things exist. I don't even know why you would say
I
that.
mean, God bless the Queen.
how do
She's
you
not
know
a
this?
lizard,
I don't
is
even-
she?
How do you know they don't exist?
I don't
You just live like this boxed life, innit?
see. This is where it always comes. Look,
what I
the
mean?
thing is, right? He's giving you
Right.
multiple choice,
You got like,
right? And you always pick the answer that's like the stupid one. It makes no sense.
you got like,
Always the conspiracy answer with you.
yeah, you got like choose some bark and that. Go out to the,
Oh,
go out
God,
to the
that one actually
Himalayas
spooked
and that,
me.
You know.
I thought something smashed.
Oh, here they come.
And that sound, obviously, as you well know, listeners, because we've done this segment many times, signals the end of that quiz for now.
We've done it 0 times.
So,
It's the first time.
Musical Classics. Yeah, where we're up to at the moment is obviously these guys are part of the last humanoid settlement on the planet of Terra AD, and yeah, so we've got 3 characters. We've got Unit Truck Ton, Sean, who apparently keeps getting mutations to deal with growing long in various ways.
Yeah, so I got plasticity, so I can.
Plasticity, giant weenus, and grow/shrink.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is unbelievable.
It's such a coincidence because it is a D100 table and you keep getting all of these ones. But at the moment, so the guys are accepting missions from aboard. They're the warders of the town, which means that they can go out of there. And just to finish the characters, yeah, we got Ranchid, who is he was a flying rat. He's now not because he lost one of his mutations. He's not a rat even.
As raccoon, mate.
Raccoon.
Yeah, that's it.
Whatever, rodent. And of course we've got the other one, which is Frankie, who's a plantiant who can regenerate, and he's a mould man.
Yeah, he plays as a mushroom, but he's a mouldy bitch.
Oh no, I changed his mini. I
Oh, you
changed
have
his mini.
now?
Yeah.
He's just a flapper mould now.
Yes. So these guys are warders, and it means they're the ones that are allowed to go out of the village and do requests for people. And of course, there was these two kids that recently snuck out and found a toy shop where they wanted to get a Sailor Moon figure from. And that was sort of the mission the guys had to do. So they went there, and they basically, long story short, they got this Sailor Moon figure, but beneath this toy shop was these horrible dank hallways where the employees used to live, and it's like a post-apocalyptic setting, right? So but it's like after several disasters, 12,000 years in the future, and things are a little bit strange. And as they're underneath there, they get attacked by what they know to be an archangel, right? Because their god is this planetary defense system, which is a giant robot/computer that lives underneath the earth, and he created all robot life forms, and this giant robot then attacks them, which they know to be an archangel. They fight it, difficult fight. At the end of it, they're divvying up all of the spoils, and of course, Sean, you had a bit of a shit moment. What it means is obviously that these guys, their god is attacking them in some way, or is at least being defensive against them. Not only that, but then he drops his 12-foot plasma sword. And Sean, you being the tank with the stretchy arms and like the hard nut of the team, you really want it, but another player took it. Yeah.
I think, everyone,
Everyone? No, I was fine.
Early bird,
Early worm gets the worm.
Yeah, but
I felt a bit sorry for you because Frankie, who's the planting character that also wanted it, he's got 18 AC. He's got fairly decent attacks on his.
I mean, 18 is absolutely unbelievable.
He's not the strongest of the team, but he is the most defensive of the team.
He's a shield now.
He's now become the tank.
He should have specialised in his defence and given you the sword, so you had something.
I agree, yeah.
But he got greedy.
He got greedy, and now he's got 18 defence, best fucking weapon in the game.
You know what frustrated me most about that PvP roll-off that you had to do to see who was quick enough to actually grab it?
Oh, yeah.
The thing that frustrated me most is that he's got his artificial intelligence check is low. Like, really, really low. And it's like...
he actually cannot be recognised as a human by any AIs. But fortunately, although a lot of magic items, artifacts, which are essentially magic items, they do have AIs in them. This sword is not one of them, so it can use it. But his artifact check also happens to be the lowest out of all of you guys.
It probably responds to body heat or something like that. This sword.
Yeah, but the thing is, like, I really felt like your character's had a bad run of it recently, Sean, and you needed a little boost, a little something, right?
I agree, but at least...
And he should have just given it to you. But he saw a fucking beam sword and he wanted it, and that was that.
100%, but...
I've never seen such greed.
Because it's literally, what's the fucking thing? It's a Star Wars or something.
Yeah, and he loves Star Wars because he's a brain-dead moron.
Oh, that's it.
Or beam sword from Smash Brothers, but yeah.
Yeah, well, any manner of beam sword.
But yeah, at least I had the initiative to reward myself with the Funko stuff that I got. And,
Sean scooped up loads of Funko Pops to make some armour out of it. Now, I know it's not the strongest.
As well.
Yeah, so he took some metal from the Archangel as well, the robot. James, you took its basic body plating and made some armour out of it. Or got it made into armour. And Sean took a sheet of metal to upgrade his stone axe into an angel metal one, which is a fucking good idea. And now you've got Funko armour as well, which is just a bunch of Funko Pops sewn together.
You know what I thought was really funny about the Funko armour bit was that Sean, for ages, had been talking about it, even out of games, like, just get the Funko armour. And then when we were out doing the dungeon crawl, basically, he manages to find another artefact, which is an invisible
flak jacket.
Invisible flak jacket. So he puts it on, and it allows you to remain stylish without everyone seeing this flak jacket on you.
Yeah, only if it's got batteries, which it hasn't at the moment.
So at the moment you can see it, but then he gets his Funko armour, and it's only a +1 AC, whereas the flak jacket is like +3.
But it worked out though, because you did the flak jacket find was a random roll on a D100 artifact table, right?
Yeah.
So that was a good find, and it was unlikely. So making the Funko armor was a good idea. The only thing is, obviously, a bunch of plastic dolls are not gonna make good armor. So it's only a +1, but it will allow you to float in water.
Do you reckon?
Well,
that's true.
We did put it on our lackey that we.
Exactly.
Did, yeah.
That's what I was going to
So it's
say.
being used.
Because you guys hired a couple of hirelings, Hernt and Hask, and you put the Funko armor on Hernt.
Yeah.
So it's good because he's got +1 where he previously had plus fuck all. So
Yeah.
no, I mean it was worth it. And the Angel Metal Sword, you've gone up from a D5 to a D10 in terms of
That's
damage,
ridiculous.
Yeah.
which is an axe, which is way better. What's cool is, well, I can't really say that, but like we're using, for minor magic items, we're using the 100 Weird Widgets thing that Nick and I made for the 3T publishing on Drive to the RPG by now. And you can pay more than the asking price, actually.
you're
So
allowed.
really do that.
It's worth more than that. We've got probably maybe £10 more enjoyment out of it.
I would say definitely £10. Yeah, thank you, Sean. That's good.
Oh, good.
He's redeemed himself, hasn't he?
Nah, not really.
No.
Look at him.
But yeah, so a lot of them, the way that we came up with them really was that Nick just put names into a document and then I fleshed them out. But a lot of them, we wanted them to seem useless but have uses for people intuitive enough to find uses for them. Like the invisible flak jacket it's just a good piece of armor. But if you power it and people don't see that you're wearing armor, it's possible they might not see you as a threat, like that type of thing.
Yeah.
James, for example, has got a chin rest for people that live in apartments the size of cupboards if they want to have a sleep. But
I've
it's
been
actually good as
using
a reaching stick.
Yeah, reaching stick, and also one to pin someone against the wall by their neck with.
Exactly. So yeah, I mean it's been pretty good, and yeah, I'm liking it. The only thing is that because it's completely sandbox and open, there is a board with missions on it. The guys don't have to do them, but that has been the most focus of it so far. But it does mean that you can go to places where there are very, very high level monsters very early on. And
so we've only kind of just realised that since the end of last session, because Harrison reminded us. You can
I think the game reminded us.
Sean was trying to fucking tell everyone. He was like, maybe we should come back here later, guys. And then nobody listened.
Oh.
Yeah.
But it's like when you get started on
but he was
something-
probably talking at his normal voice level, which is really quiet.
Yeah, it was like...
No,
But,
I wasn't.
So essentially, yeah, they were gonna. This guy's posted a thing. The smith in the town that they live in, which is like this old town that used to belong to the ancient ones, and it's got an electric fence. The electric fence has recently been fucking up and things like this, and they were going to sort that out later because they reckon it's linked to something going on below a hatch underneath the smithy, right? But first of all, the guy had posted a thing asking to get his wife back because she'd left him a note and fucked off out of nowhere and gone into the jungle. And he's really annoyed about it. So that took priority over the fact that there was radiation coming out from under his smithy and the hatch was sort of like wobbling and about to explode. But the guys decided to go for that. So they went down into this facility that was underneath the entirety of the village, an old ancient one's facility. And it turns out the reason the electric fence keeps on going down is because there's these beings that eat electricity down there, and they're chomping on all the wires down in this old facility that used to power the electric fence. So the guys went down there and realised that these things have an armour class of 18. They don't hit too hard, but they're very difficult to hit. And Sean, you just had the worst night.
Yeah, I fell on the floor right at the beginning.
So in DCC, when you fumble, you have to. There's an effect that happens. So if you roll a 1, so Sean hit himself for normal damage and fell prone.
Yeah, in the face,
Yeah.
and then I knocked myself onto the floor, and I couldn't really get up because I was surrounded. So I had to stay on the floor and keep attacking.
Well, you'd have to use an action to get up, and you didn't want to. So, but it
So
meant that
stay
everyone
down.
was getting crit after crit because he was prone, and it was just like bam, bam,
And
just getting fucked up.
well, he ended up going down, didn't he?
Yeah, I did, but luckily you you defibbed me.
Yeah, because James's character can generate electricity, so he defibbed him. But yeah, you had a rough night, and I mean, but the good thing is you had the forethought to. Obviously, you'd given your weapons and armour over to the smith, but you waited for those before you went down there.
No,
Yeah.
I didn't wait.
Do you remember how many
no,
times he
'cause-
reached for the axe? that
Sean was like,
wasn't there?
right, I get my axe out. And then I was like, right. I actually described it in game. I was like, right, so you reach for your axe and you grab nothing but air. Your trusty axe, you remember you left upstairs.
Yeah, he was like, my character was kind of just like really used to that action, like just
yeah. And you did end up doing some cool stuff, because one of the mutations you have is mental blast.
yeah.
And that came in very handy, because if you ain't got a weapon, you were hurting stuff quite a lot. And I think everyone contributed in some meaningful way. But I think perhaps my favourite moment, and basically to cut a long story short, where we got to is that they cleared out some of these monsters, found a key card to go into the next area, and then decided to go back to town to rest. But during the first fight, where they see these monsters chewing on the wires of a vending machine, James took cover behind a plant, and then through the plant. And then I was like, right, this thing attacks you. And he was like, but I'm behind cover. And I'm like, you threw the cover. And then James literally did a slow turn, completely sincerely, and looked like that surprise Pikachu meme. He was just like, it was like, yeah, you throw your cover, you don't have cover. That's the sad thing.
Yeah. I definitely did a boo-boo on that.
It's very funny. But yeah, I mean, everyone got a little bit fucked up, except Sean was the most, because you went down without weapons or armour and fumbled, and then were just getting wailed on the floor. But
yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
I mean, but handily, you got your armour back now. You've got your flat jacket, and you've got your angel metal axe. So going back down there, a bit more healed, and also with 2 new hirelings on board.
And where we
zero
left it
levels.
off was we managed to get into this computer room, which we ended up kind of realising that it opens the doors. We didn't know if it would open all of them, and we asked them to open up a specific door, but then Harrison made the sound of all the doors opening, so we're like, quick, close it.
Their
And
AI recognition role wasn't good enough, and they were dealing with this Pierce Brosnan AI that was on the computer, and they just opened every door at once, and there happened to be a room that had 4 of these electricity beasts in there, but you managed to close it quick enough to where you trapped one of them halfway in the door, and then it sort of squoze out, but 3 of them are still behind the door, so you only have to deal with 1.
Yeah.
And that's where we left it. It was pretty good, and you've got the 2 0 levels sort of on guard there at the moment.
Yeah, but they have just shouted, "What the fuck is that?" And then now,
And it's racing towards
But
them.
that's their job, though, really.
The only thing is, I thought we could.
their job is to die.
Although, like, Tobuscus seems to care more about Hask than the.
I don't know why he cares. They're both they're just 0 levels. They get more personality as they play throughout the game. But like, fucking, he loves Hask for some reason, and I don't know why. It's just they went to the pub and I was
just a
like,
guy.
how many
I
do
think
you
it's
want
just the name.
It's literally that. I was like, how many do you want to hire? They're like 4 creds, and then
Harrison
I
asked
gave
for
them
a
2.
name in like really quickly, and then Sean panicked and just went Hask.
Stupid as fuck. But yeah, I mean, I'm enjoying the balls off of it, and I hope you guys are too.
Mate, we
And,
tell you we
It's
are.
great. It's great.
So we are.
Yeah, and I'm just hoping like Sean, you've had a bad run of it with your character, but with your new armor and your new weapon, I hope that.
It's coming back.
Like,
It's
I feel
redemption
like after every
arc.
session, I text Sean. I'm like, mate, I'm well sorry. Like, it's not on purpose, but your character keeps getting fucked up.
No, I think it's just like, to be fair, it depends on the character, but we're all going to have like a difficulty spike with the way we.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, Frankie, the Plantian character, he has had a lot of trouble hitting things up until now.
We've all had trouble in different elements because your trouble or issue is the fact that you're the tank, but you can't seem to be the tank in battles, right?
Not yet. Not
And
yet.
then, but my issue is I lost like a really, really good mutation.
I feel like you're a good starting character.
Well, yeah,
definitely.
because you can gain and lose mutations, and James started with flight and electrical generation, which is an amazing combination, but unfortunately lost flight, but you gained symbiotic touch.
Yeah, I lost flight. I lost my +5 intelligence, so that was a really
that
that
was a
sucked.
kick in the teeth. But yeah, so we've all had shit times.
And I think like we're kind of lucky that we have a Plantian on the team. Otherwise,
It's MCC, right?
So
it's
it
it's a
could give us
DCC variant, and it's fucking hard. And I actually think in a lot of ways, MCC gives you a few more tools to survive than even DCC does.
yeah, it does,
Especially with
yeah.
the mutations, because some of them are fucking amazing.
and the clans as well.
Yeah, exactly, because you guys are part of the Children of the Glow, and that gives you a +5 check to mutations, and mutations work a lot like spells. So to put it in perspective, to get +5 like on spell checks in DCC, you'd even need to have like a monstrously high intelligence score, if I recall correctly, or be level 5.
Yeah.
So it's like.
But it balances out because we're at a disadvantage because we almost always have to like play in radiation every time.
Yeah, every time you see it because you worship it and you need to try and get new radiations. And that,
I mean, yeah, if we roll lucky on that all the time, then it's going to be great. But we as proven,
yeah, it does.
we don't.
But yeah, then whenever you use a mutation, you always run that risk of losing it or it mutating into a defect or whatever. Hasn't happened yet, but it could.
Yeah,
and you've been quite careful about not using it all the time, Sean. But then when it came to that last dungeon, getting halfway through it, you really... Well, I mean, you didn't really have much option but to use your mental blast because you left your axe upstairs.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Well, I wanted to rest for a bit longer and stuff.
So anyway, the one I will say but where we left it is kind of funny because essentially all robots are created in God's image in this world, right? So they're perfect in every way. That because God is all powerful, as far as these guys know. Anyway, the person who posted the job about the electricity fucking up was their chief, Viceroy the Lossless, who's a robot. They bring the fucking the bit of paper back up to him and they're like, right, we're here for a reward. And the paper says, it says, okay, we just want somebody to go down there and diagnose the problem, which they've done. The robot had somehow forgotten that, despite his name, the Lossless, and is now saying that he won't reward the guys until they actually sort it completely out. But he has offered them a position on the church choir as a consolation prize, and it happens to be halfway through a Saturday today on the game, and then. At the moment on the game, and then tomorrow Sunday, so it's church, and you guys haven't practiced at the choir
at all. To be fair, we could have probably gone about an hour because, like, I think we fulfilled that contract, and he should have created a new job for us.
He did. He printed it again. He printed a new one out.
He did, but he should have paid us.
No, but
he did, man. The gift of being in the choir, that.
Yeah,
it didn't state that there was any reward on it as well, so there was two mock-ups. One was diagnosed.
30 tokens, didn't it?
No, that's the new one.
No, that's the new one. He's now offered you 30 creds, but originally it just said the reward will be the decent, basically, and that was the choir. I mean, it was a supposedly easy type. But anyway, look, you've got 30 creds on the table, but he seemed genuinely confused, and so something's not right here. Not only that, but you've been attacked by a robot as well, which also isn't right because they're supposed to protect you. So shit's going on.
The plot thickens.
But something magical happened as well, didn't it, lads? Because Nick, he said he was going to do something.
He actually came through.
He came through. We played Alien, ladies and gentlemen. Boy. We've been going on about it. It's the Half-Life 3 gaming, except now it isn't because it came out. It's more like the Shenmue 3.
Yeah.
Except that was rubbish and this was fun. So Nick, he's running us through the plot point campaign of the Alien RPG from Free League. Where we left it off last is that we are the crew of this ship that was meant to do a delivery. On the way, we come across this fucking huge-ass old derelict that belonged to Weyland-Yutani, our employers. So we have to go and investigate it, try and recover as much of it as we can, including staff, equipment, all of this shit. And some, like, not to spoil anything, I mean, like, big surprise, there's aliens on board. There's eggs on there.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and so last game was sort of like, we kind of left it where we'd encountered a xenomorph, fought it, somebody's suit was losing air rapidly, and we kind of had to get the air systems on this ship that we joined online, try to see if there are any crew alive, try to salvage as much equipment as possible, and salvage the entire ship, actually. Right. So we kind of had to get the thrusters of this big ship online so that we could tandem it back to whatever planet we were going to.
Yeah, our main mission, essentially, was to get the engine going, wasn't it?
Yeah, so we spent a lot of the last game exploring and things like this, and trying to figure out systems while the alien was sort of running around in the pipes and attacking us. So we were all a bit rusty on the rules because it's been a while since we played, but it was still mega fun.
I thought it was great because quite obvious that Nick was He was a bit nervous at the beginning because when he was giving us the backstory and stuff, you could hear it in his voice. But I tell you what, within a few minutes, he slotted right back into it.
It was about 10 minutes, I reckon.
I think we all did as well because it was like I definitely forgot what my character sounded like, but we all had our relationships between each other on our lists there and stuff like this. So it was sort of like just slotting straight back into our roles, and I mean it was a hell of a lot of fun. Gained a lot of stress. A lot of people nearly died. I did think it was quite funny at one point though, because I can't remember how you get stress.
It's when you push a roll.
So when you push a roll or you fail a roll in a certain way.
You fail a roll, and then if you push it, you have to gain stress to then do it. Or if you
so that means you gain a stress dice. So every time you then roll, you run the risk. You might become more likely to succeed because your adrenaline is up, but you also get more. You're more likely to get a terrible effect from it, right?
Yeah, because you have to include the mod for the stress, because then it'll be like I don't know, whatever stress points you got is minus that amount.
And it can get really fucky really quickly because it really does snowball. But there was a point where the alien fucked up in a certain way, and James was like, alien gets stress. I'm like, no, because the alien's not stressed. It's loving it. It's attacking us. It's only the players that get stressed. But I would love that if the alien suddenly had like a fucking stress breakdown, and it was like, right, you see the alien.
He stops, has a fag.
He has a fag. Or he's sitting in the corner writing poetry.
It was a face hugger as well, and I was like, I don't think face huggers are particularly
They're not capable of it, let's be honest.
Yeah.
They jump at a face, they rape it, that's basically their whole MO, really.
Face raping.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it was fucking awesome as usual, and what I liked was that the whole game is, I forgot this, was that it's all turn-based, and so Nick gets his turn, and it sort of really does add the tension when you're all milling around, and it was like, right, I get to do a few movements, and he's obviously got a secret layer on Roll20, and he's moving his fucking thing about, and he's like, right, here we go, we got this all done, and then, no, Nick, if you're listening, it was amazing. Sorry that I've done your voice like that. But so we ended up where we got the air back online. We identified that in the cryo chamber there was an old crew, but we left them in there because they were safe for the moment. And we went back to our ship and started towing the other one whilst its thrusters were online. So that's where we left it. And we've got, I reckon, 1 or 2 more episodes left, and I can't fucking wait.
Yeah, it was absolutely amazing. I proper loved the chuff out of it.
It was a wicked fun. Anyway. So that's it for what we've been saying. MCC and Alien. Well, good.
Main. Subject. Magic. Main. Subject. Tokyo. Main. Subject.
So, Sean, right, it's time for you to do your Savage Pathfinder segment.
Another day.
No, you're doing it now.
Because I've already read the show notes.
He did.
Checkmate.
That's annoying that he did. But, Sean, we are doing something for your birthday here.
Yeah.
Right? I should have punished you and made you do Savage Pathfinder from memory, but...
You're just saying it's for my birthday.
No, this is for your birthday. Shut up, and why don't you listen to my intro, and then we'll see if you... Alright, good. Big Eyes Small Mouth, otherwise known as BESM or BESM, is the world's biggest anime role-playing game. See, Sean?
Oh.
You love anime.
Alright, thanks.
Taking its name from the way anime lads are often drawn, while the game has been criticised in the past for being shallow, it is on the 4th edition and boasts incredible presentation. Not only that, but the history of the game is a long and storied one, with its base rules being used for some very good but now out of print official licensed games. Before those were 10 a penny and mostly shit, such as the Sailor Moon RPG, the Dominion Tank Police RPG, and the Tenchi Muyo one too. That's why today we will not be talking about Big Eyes Small Mouth, but will instead be talking about Big Breast Small Waist, a hentai spin-off parody of Big Eyes Small Mouth. I figured as it's Sean's birthday and he loves anime, instead of doing an episode about an RPG you might want to hear about, we'll do this one.
That's sort of like, people are going to be annoyed at me now.
Well, this is your fault. Let's call it what it is.
It's your fault for liking anime and hentai.
That is... Because we don't.
Like,
I've never even looked at the internet.
What is a Full Metal Alchemist, you know?
That's not hentai.
Well, how do you know that?
But Sean's still facts.
How do you know that that's not?
And, you know, it's just been a while since we've reviewed this type of game, right? So I happened to stumble across it recently. And just so that your internet history, dear listener, isn't clogged up with filth, today we're going to take a deep dive into Big Breast Small Waist for your listening displeasure. So BBSW is not a slick production, it should be said. It's a fairly short PDF with zero artwork, except for an ASCII logo with the abbreviated title. But it is semi-infamous amongst the right circle, or the wrong circles. I've seen fans of Bigger Eyes, Bigger Chungus who criticise this game for not giving hentai the respect that it deserves. I've also seen posts on forums from people who have had this game unwittingly pulled out on them during a long-running campaign of BESM. So to be clear, I'm not entirely sure what to think on this game going in, right? I think it's a parody in every sense of the word and not actually to be taken seriously. But who knows, lads? This could be fun. Sean, are you looking at your phone?
I'm listening to you.
Oh, right, yeah. But, yeah, this game actually could be fun, right? It might actually be a good game.
I reckon Sean's going to love it and he's going to want to immediately play it. He's going to derail MCC.
He's going to get everyone killed on purpose and then be like...
He's like, all right, BBSW?
All right, yeah, but like we're for shots fired at me, but like Harrison just happened to stumble across this. Like,
For you, yeah.
Whoops.
Yeah, when I was researching stuff for your birthday episode.
Oh, okay.
So,
Fair.
you know, if you want to start firing shots back at me, then you better have your bloody invisible flak jacket on, because I'm going to fuck you up. Anyway, underneath the ASCII logo at the top of the PDF book, it reads, Big Breasts, Small Waist, the hentai role-playing game by Zarathustra. And in brackets it says shrooms00 at yahoo.com. In a moment of extreme boredom. Version 0.5. So you know you're in for a treat when it's patently obvious the RPG was likely written by a stoner, probably in one sitting. Did you write this? No. But without any preamble, though, it bams right into character generation. And you have 12 character points, which you distribute amongst the stats, which are the stats, which are endurance, appearance, charisma, intelligence, and potency. All of these have what I suppose are supposed to be funny explanations next to them. And this being a game about, adult hugs and sex attacks and whatnot, we can assume that endurance, is how long you can, But the book, the way it puts it, says covers all physical feats of strength and agility. So
all of them?
Yeah, but it's like covers all physical, so it's sort of it's like a wink and a nod.
But you don't need a wink and a nod.
You need a wank and a...
Nod.
But it's suggestive, you see. It's like carry on. It's like instead of going, this is used specifically for sex, it's like, it's for, whip. Boing. See?
Yeah, I mean, but surely this covers all feats of strength.
It does as well, but it's telling you that you can use it for. Ooh. But next to intelligence, the actual description of intelligence, it just says question mark. That's very funny, you see.
So did Butthead write this then?
Yes, with his friend Beavis. But yeah, potency though, that stat. What is that? Well, your actual endurance, because it works, potency is like your actual endurance, right? Because it works like hit points. It determines how long you can go, and literally and figuratively, as the book puts it, how long you can go. It says,
is potency like how much cologne you got on or something like that?
No, it's like how long you can, it's how long you can...
Woo. Yeah.
Like on you.
Yeah.
Hello. And at character creation... The potency score is literally just equal to your endurance skill, and after that it's leveled up as an independent stat. Now, every time you do a sexual maneuver or get hit, you're going to lose potency. And to recover it, you can either sleep, right, and recover it over a lot of time, or you can recover all of your potency by taking Viagra. Now, what's amusing about this is you could be in the middle of a fearsome gunfight, you've shot your enemy full of fucking holes, he's leaking everywhere, then you see him duck behind cover where he pops something in his mouth, then charges out at you fully healed and sporting a raging chubby.
Wow.
So that's amusing, isn't it?
It's pretty good.
That's fun.
Sean's face just then was a picture.
It's a horrid image.
Yeah. But that's battle, Sean. It's messy.
Viagra.
They used it in World War II. The Boner Brigade, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Fearsome warriors.
I don't think it was invented.
The Native Americans, of course, first came up with it. The Viagra pipe.
Oh, yeah.
And that's why they were such fearsome warriors. Now, there is a stat called Climax, right? But I can't figure out what it does. So let me just read the entry for you guys here. It says Climax. How long you can go before you go. Only used in the 2nd edition rules of the Wild thing. Initial climax equals your endurance attribute, 2 climax point, blah, blah, blah. And it tells you how to level it up. But I don't know what that means. I don't know what.
Surely that'd be linked to endurance, though, because it just means how long it takes before you like reach
a
coming point.
The coming point, yes.
I don't know how to put that politely.
But it's weird because it says it's only used in the 2nd edition rules of the Wild thing, which I don't know what the fuck that is. That might be something that if you.
They probably planned an expansion, but then didn't.
Or it's a thing from Big Eyes Small Mouth, the original one. That's
yeah.
I don't know what the fuck it is, but yeah, I mean that's what it is. How long before you can go? But then all of the other stats seem to be that as well. So you've got 3 stats for
jizzing.
For
but
jizzing.
Wouldn't this be like how long before you go? Surely that insinuates that any point a climax happens, it's like instant kill or whatever you're doing.
Well, no, but then potency is also how long you. So presumably, if you run out of potency, you're going to pass out midway through. Right, that's just happening.
And you can't.
Whereas
get
if you get to this, then you're gonna flash somebody too soon. That's what it is.
Gonna sliz on them too soon.
You're gonna some slizzes happening, a load of slunge up the walls. But yeah, now you have something called attribute alterators, which are traits that alter your character's background, physical appearance, and whatever. And although this isn't clear at all, I think they can use to gain more character points by taking a negative one, or you can spend character points on positive ones. For example, penis. Just penis.
How original.
So if you want to have a higher appearance score, spend some points to fattenate your wingding. And of course, a small one grants you more points to spend at the cost of appearance. So for ladies, the stat of penis is not like the cavernosity of your minge. It's just the humble breast.
The humble breast.
So yeah, the first 2 in the game are penis and breast.
Can you not like put points in bums as well?
No, it's just penis and breast.
Oh.
Those are the only 2 things that matter in this world, and that we'll talk about that
Sean
later.
actually looks upset about that.
Can you not put points in bums? Oh.
He want points.
He was loving it up until this point, and he's like, now you can't have a gigantic arse. Yeah, sorry,
It's
Sean.
because of his favourite anime, Kaijo.
Oh no, don't bring that.
You love that anime, man.
No,
that is a sports anime about a new sport called Kaijo, where people use their breasts and arses to whack each other off of a sumo type ring.
I hated it. It made me very angry.
And if I recall correctly, that was another case of you fucking up because you didn't watch the whole thing when we were doing it for our anime podcast.
I watched 6 episodes.
You watched 6 episodes, then skipped to the end.
Yeah, and then watched the last episode.
Scum. Subhuman scum.
Yeah, sorry. It made me depressed watching it. So
anyway, with the breast thing, the bonuses are applied exactly the same as that as the penis alterator, which is a great thing just to be able to say. And there are a lot of other physical ones too, like cute, strong, age, or innocence, which is negative only and basically functions like varying levels of asexuality. There's one other one here that I think I'm going to have to save to the end because I do think it ruins the entire game already.
Right.
And we've only really just started, but. Rather than make up our minds right now, I just want to, show you guys what this game has to offer, and we'll come back to this section in a bit, alright? But there's a host of alterators that are advantages only, and ones that are disadvantages too, and examples of advantage ones include combative, where you fight better, and this comes in 3 levels, which are Ninja Turtle, Ranma, and Dragon Ball.
yes.
I thought you'd like that. Yeah, so the highest level of fighting ability in this is just called Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. But like a bit lazy though, if I'm honest, and also
Yeah, but Goku's the most powerful man.
he is. But like, surely they could have had just naming power levels after shows. I don't know.
Yeah, but you get it though. Like Ninja Turtles, they're weak, they're rubbish, right?
You immediately got the reference.
How they
Ninja Turtles, they're shit, right?
How they shit though?
No, they're shit. But like Goku, he's well good.
Yeah.
But they're
Ninja Turtles shit. Yeah.
Ninja Turtles suck, man.
No, they're all good. All of them are good. Though.
Anyway, no. Basically, each level just gives you an extra attack. So Ninja Turtle gives you 1 extra attack, with Dragon Ball Z giving you 3, which is like one of those really shit.
More like Dragon Ball 3.
Get out.
You're on fire, James.
Get out. There's also Babe/Boy Magnet, where you can attract from D3 to 3D6 people, although the mechanics aren't actually in the document yet and probably never will be, right? Because
Hope not.
Well, this was made 21 years ago, which is worth talking about. So basically, this game is on version 0.5, and it's mostly finished with the exception of some of the explanatory text and cost of certain alterators, right? So there does exist a 1.0 version, and like this one, it's completely free, but instead of being a PDF, like this original version, it was an HTML thing, like an interactive website type deal. And, you know, as it was 21 fucking years ago, it's simply doomed to nothingness behind broken links, and I couldn't find anything to do with it. But let's talk about disadvantages, right? Some of these are anime tropes. So you got crybaby, unwanted love interest, evil nemesis, well, you have an evil nemesis, predictably. And depending on how bad you go with this, you can have up to a dozen evil nemeses.
Nemesis.
Which is, I just think it's quite amusing. So, like, your level 1 character has 12 people that is absolute nemesis. Like, they fucking hate him.
That's Sean, isn't it?
That's him.
Yes.
And of course you have Nymphomaniac. And I'll just read, shut up. And I'll just read the description of Nymphomaniac here, which is as follows. Sex, 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 gag. You need more sex than normal for a balanced, well-adjusted person like most of us internet types.
Does it actually say that?
It does, yeah.
What the hell?
No, but it's self-effacing humour. He's saying, you know, us internet types, we're lame.
I don't think he's trying to be humorous, though. That's the...
Yeah, he is, but it's self-effacing. It's funny. It's funny-ish. It's nearly funny.
Yeah, it's almost.
I think it's great.
I actually, yeah, I've
really
got to be
good.
honest, I did
This
cat it a bit.
RPG is
No, but
wicked.
like you can tell he's a bit weird. Whereas like if I did it, it'd be.
Oh yeah, Sean, if you did it would be exactly the same as this. I'm not going to lie.
If anything, I don't know. You just probably
It would be
have just
exactly,
more
and
gunk in
it would be half finished, and it would just be,
You'd
You'd be like, oh yeah, op-eye,
what's op-eye?
the boobies.
Oh right, yeah. Hang on a minute. You know more about this than he does.
No, he told it to me. I saw him mouth it.
Op-eye. It's like a Greek person at a wedding. It's at this point, right, that reading the book, I kind of felt like the game has sort of a cheeky sense of humour. Do you get me? Like, it sometimes explicitly talks about filth, but considering other stuff we've seen on this show, it's quite tame, right? Almost in a sort of carry-on sort of way. Do you know what I mean? At least if the sort of awkward way it's written is to be believed, where it will out and out say penis, but talking about endurance, it's, you know, it's like how long, you know, you can go for. And I don't know, mate. It's like, I feel like it's sort of got a little bit of a sort of fun sense of humour about it. It's not that funny, but you see what I mean? It's not like explicit, disgusting filth like Tokyo Black.
Yeah.
I do think, though, that it has a bit of trouble finding its place exactly, because in the disadvantages and area, you have sexual phobias and insanities. And this could have been an opportunity to, like, do a kind of cartoonish, cheeky style, like a fear of intimacy, like you often see in animes, right? Or a fear of women, like could be done in a cartoony way, right? Or another example of the game is a fear of prostitutes, which could play into many situations in a comical way, right? Especially, for example, if you're like shaking down a brothel for information and the workers are all like confident hard nuts that you find yourself in a fight against. You've got a fear of prostitutes. These guys are whacking you all over the head with all sorts of instruments.
Yeah.
I think that's quite funny, right? You have a lot of opportunity for comical, cartoonish phobias, but then it includes real, quite harrowing fears, like the fear of rape, or gays, or venereal disease.
Like most of us are like pretty scared of rape, I'd say.
Not me, mate.
Not me, mate. I'm pro-rape. Well, I'm not. That's horrible.
He's talking about rape seeds, so don't...
Yeah.
But but it's genuinely like those are things that in your cheeky hentai anime game that thus far has maintained sort of a sort of feel. Suddenly they're talking about actual disgusting things.
Yeah, it originally started off a bit Leisure Suit Larry, but then just turned
into
nice.
It was Leisure Suit Larry, then it was Bad Suit Barry.
Oh, Bad Boot Barry.
Bad Butt Sex Barry.
Yeah.
Didn't you play Leisure Suit Larry because your dad had it?
Yeah, he had a copy of it.
Nice.
It was like one of the old schools with the floppy dicks.
The best.
Well, in more ways than one. Actually, not a terrible game, though, to be fair. Yeah, and under insanities, right, you might become someone who likes having sex with the dead. So that's nice, isn't it? Or eating fecal matter, or having sex with animals.
Why does it have to describe that?
The stuff I don't want to think about on a regular
But like the insanities
basis.
could be, but it could be, if we're going for a cartoonish style, which is the fucking point of the main game, right? The main BESM one, right?
Besm.
Right, you could go for some pretty fun insanities. Like, what if you, I don't know, like, because the insanities is like you kind of have sexual fetish for something, whereas in the fears it's the opposite, right? So, but it could be pretty funny. You could do funny shit like, I don't know, like you're a furry or something, like something that's easy to laugh at. Apricots up the bum.
Like you have a problem like getting it up, so you have to like be feeding yourself Viagra every 6 hours, and like the source.
Is that funny? Because that might be something that us in real life.
It's
not me, obviously, never, but like you know what I mean. Like, but some people like some men really do.
I mean, you're getting
it's sort of like a bonerish vampire type thing. You know what I mean? Like you have to go out and get Viagra every 6 hours.
You have to suck on the blood of somebody that can get. No, anyway,
it's quite a fun game mechanic.
It could be fun. But then they include these real disgusting ones in there that are just like, no, that's just gross. It's not that funny. In fact, there's no way it could be funny. But now is a good time, right? Because we've sort of realised that this game is. It starts off like funny, like. But now it's like
a bit too much.
Let's go back to that other physical alternator I mentioned.
Yeah, go on.
So one of the things you can earn points for to get more character creation points is being underage.
Oh.
You can be as young as 9, and for this you get some negative stat modifiers, which would be fine in any other game. But Zarathustra saw fit to put this into a game where your backstory can include a rape victim who diddles animals with a giant knob. And not only that, but it gets worse when you factor in what exactly the bonuses are for being 9 years of age. And that included within this is -4 endurance, -3 charisma, +4 appearance. So according to the game's logic, you get the point, right? You get the point.
Right, yeah.
Children, I was going to say something then, but I don't want people to clip it. So you get the point.
Yeah.
Children gain +4 appearance in this game.
I think you found the worst RPG.
It might be the worst one. And it gets worse somehow, right? Because the description of this particular disadvantage also tries to almost justify the inclusion of children by saying that all characters in the game have entered puberty.
Right.
It's like the justification.
It's like that whole. That's like it's the whole. If there's grass on the pitch, play ball. You know, it's like
this is where, like, in anime sometimes where they're supposed to be a bit sexualized and it's well gross, but like, they're 1,000 years old, but they look like a child.
In this, it's not even that though.
No,
it's just saying, well, they've entered puberty, so play ball, and it's like, well, they're 9. They're 9.
Yeah.
And the 9-year-olds in this game get the biggest bonus to attractiveness, which is.
So the writer is.
A paedophile.
Mm.
Yes. Now, it is possible that this was fixed in the lost version on the website, right? Coincidentally, if anyone has that saved, let me know, because I'd love to see what changes were made in the full version if he came to his senses, right? But the idea that Zarathustra wrote this down in the first place, even entertaining the thought, is pretty fucking gross, right? Because for me, like, as a well-adjusted, normal internet person, I wouldn't have ever even thought to put that down onto paper.
No.
Right?
No.
It's just because I'm not a fucking maniac.
I mean, to be honest, if any of us was ever inclined to do that, not that we would be writing an RPG like this, I feel like immediately just be like, 18 and above.
Yeah, you just right at the beginning of the game, you play adults who so on and so on and so on.
Oh, yes, man.
You know what time it is, ladies and gentlemen. It's time for Sean's quiz. Of course,
Sean is so shocked.
Why was that such a surprise? We do this all the time, Sean.
You've never done it. I've listened to every episode.
Liar.
All
right, so first question.
Right. The world as we know it is, in fact, simulated by a large supercomputer and our consciousness is artificial, or B, not material or tangible, but actually information and code. #quantum physics.
But both of those are wrong.
No, Sean, you only got to pick one.
Okay,
pick one. He could have made it more simple for you.
Supercomputer.
You fucking idiot. I can't believe how stupid can you be? Like, simulation?
Oh my God.
Bloody hell, ridiculous. Next question.
Right, so 2 answers, pick one.
Yeah.
The government are controlling us by A, that same mole we all have on our forearms, or B, 5G and vaccinations.
5G and vax.
Fuck me,
Sean,
he didn't even flinch.
Not even for. I mean, 5G is controlling our minds.
But obviously-
that is one of the stupidest things I've ever heard somebody
5G
say
and
ever.
vaccination.
Obviously, that's not
Sean,
the
you need to
mold,
stop
is it?
believe. You need
Like
to stop
this-
going on Reddit and believing the first thing you read. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Because that answer wasn't even in the quiz. He didn't even say that.
I mean, kind
Next question.
of.
Right. The Roswell crash in 1947 was caused by A flying saucer, or B, a UFO.
UFO.
UFO. Ah, sick.
That's ridiculous.
That was actually a good answer, though.
No, but there's Sean. You just can't get off UFOs for 1 minute, can you?
If you want, nah, not really.
You really can't. I mean,
you buoy up, so I feel.
I don't think that's true.
You guys-
I don't think that's even
Sean's-
remotely true.
Sean's a conspiracy theorist. And for the last one,
I'm a truther.
Sean, is open good. The Satanic Panic was caused by A, Satanists, secret tunnels and witches flying through the air at preschools,
Yeah.
or B, D&D, because all tabletop RPGs are Satanists and Satan is the one true Satan.
I'll go B.
D&D.
Because the first bit was
How
true.
dare you do that to our beloved hobby?
Yeah, that's ridiculous. How can RPGs be Satanists? You're killing demons in it. Why do you always say these types of things?
Why do you believe such?
Yeah, cut deep.
Oh, can you stop with those fucking noises?
No, that was.
No, genuinely, it's really annoying. I know it's your birth. Put that down.
I don't think I'd seen one of those, like, ever. Sorry.
Now, there's a great number more disadvantages and shit, including tentacles, shape-shifting or whatever, but you can see what I mean. That the whole, underage element basically renders the entire game unusable and sad and gross. You know what I mean? But next we have the equipment section, and it contains some items which in normal situations would be very useful. It's just difficult to now separate it from the two pretty gross sections mentioned already, innit? Handcuffs, for example, good for various things, but also good for capturing bad guys. Lubricant for, and so on, and also good for slipping into narrow vents to steal some from somebody. And it's basically anything that adults might enjoy after a couple of glasses of wine and a couple of episodes of the 3T RPG podcast. But now we're on to the how to play section, right? And it seems to shift once again back to the irreverent silliness of before, which is weird. And the book actually got a laugh from me when I saw that experience in the game is called Sex P. And that's the funniest thing in the book. And in the rules for engaging in this stuff works basically like mass combat rules in other games. It's not terrible, but it's not actually likely to ever be used at any table ever. But it's then that we get into how to earn Sex P, and basically multiplying shit based on what you do, who is there, who does what to who, and so on. And I think I officially signed off this game as completely irredeemable a while ago, but now I really officially signed this game off as completely irredeemable when I saw that including family members, virgins and children will multiply the Sex P that you get even higher.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
This is, definitely the worst one.
It's the worst one. I think it's worse than Black Tokyo because
Can't
at
be
least
worse
that was
than
a supplement not included in the original game, the child bit, right? What is wrong with people? What's wrong with people, Sean?
Yeah, you're
They're a bunch of bastards.
Is it the government controlling them with that mould that we have in our arm of 5G and vaccinations? Or?
And if it is, don't
might
bring
be.
it up, Sean.
It could be the 5G, I reckon.
All right.
You idiot.
Just brought it up again.
But finally, though, we have a very, very incomplete setting in the book, and it's here that I wondered why he went for this writing style of nodding and winking towards certain things, then including a setting where you can basically rape people for fun. So the setting is about a paragraph, and it's just about people getting sex attacked all the time. So that's a good laugh, isn't it? And I came to realise this. I think that this idiot wrote this book in a manner where he did the paragraph headings first, right, and the broad descriptions of everything, then added the gameplay elements later. So I think while he was testing the water and not entirely confident in his own fucked up interests, he basically wrote the plan, and that's why we have those somewhat fun overviews of things and humorous bits. But later, when he was perhaps high or had shown it to some equally like-minded cunts,
Probably like quite horny at certain points as well.
yeah, and then he populated each section, which is why there's this kind of like tonal whiplash and complete dissonance in the component parts. So you end up with this character creation section, which is all about implying filth, to then including character creation options, which are explicitly awful. It's why you have some amusing character options alongside the option to play as pre-gens of very young characters from anime, like Asuka Langley from Evangelion, who is 14, and according to Zarathustra, has +1 appearance.
Tut.
And this is the worst game ever made, and I feel like I've ruined Sean's birthday.
Do you think it's worse than Racial Holy War, though?
Yeah.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, definitely.
Because when you when you talk about the hierarchy of terrible things to do, I think racism is bad, right?
It's bad, but
racism, but paedophilia is worse.
Yeah.
And then beneath that, being a furry. So what do you guys think? So look, as I was saying, right? Racists, they're pretty bad, but it could be worse. If you're the type of racist that attacks people, that's bad racist. If you're the type of racist that makes an RPG, that's sort of like, that's a cheeky racist, isn't it? That's like,
it's not really cheeky,
hey,
it's still shit.
Hey, you cheeky racist, we like you.
A couch racist is definitely a lot less worse. And like,
but what about but then you run into this thing like, this guy's a couch paedophile, and I feel like that is so much worse because even having the brain that 100%. Thinks about these things is a lot worse than being hateful, where you could probably be changed in some way.
Yeah. Definitely.
See, I'd probably say that being as bad as it is, being hateful, as long as you keep it to yourself, you're not really hurting anyone. But even if you keep it to yourself by being a couch pedo, then you're
still bad.
You're essentially a monster. Yeah,
definitely.
Because I think any kind of I think the worst types of pedos are the ones that are really lecherous like that. Because if they're just couch pedos, that means they're just in the corner all the time.
And also, it's probably boiling up, and they're going to eventually do something. Yeah, that's what we always see in the news. And I did try to check to see if this guy had ever been in the news, but obviously never used his real name. So I might just email him. But like, mate, are you in jail at the moment?
As well, like Racial Holy War was probably more of a complete game than this, which is sad.
That is saying something, because that was a very incomplete game. And we don't know what was in that version 1. He might have taken this stuff out, but it was there to begin with.
We're still waiting.
It's the fact that you would have to edit down from being a paedophile to then being like, right, some of this stuff's got to get cut. Should we take out some of the equipment section? No, take out the paedophile section. But yeah, I mean, it's very, very basic, isn't it? I mean, it's barely a game, and also it's pretty disgusting. And it feels like, from a writing point of view, it's also not very good because it's inconsistent. From a game point of view, it's not very good because it's unclear and unfinished. And from a paedophile point of view, well, I guess if you are a nonce, it's pretty great. But we're not, so it's rubbish.
It's fucking shit. But it was a good review.
Yeah, big breast, small waist.
Big breast, small waist. We'll probably prefer to play...
I sort of thought this was going to be a bit of a laugh when I first downloaded it. I didn't want to go into it. But the trouble is, right, is that I wrote the review yesterday, so there wasn't really much I could do to sort of change course in the end.
There's nothing really wrong with making something
hang on.
Like a sex-themed thing, innit? Like,
no, there really isn't, because
like,
we reviewed the Book of Erotic Fantasy, right? And we thought that was going to be a laugh. That was the old 3.5 edition third-party supplement. And it actually handled a lot of stuff in either a funny way or a mature way. And also the one you reviewed ages ago, James, that was the one that was the Encyclopedia of Blue Magic. Where it was literally just a comedy product, and some of the spells included zapping somebody's clothes off.
That was the Pathfinder.
And then they had Mystic Pimp was one of the classes. Do you know what I mean?
Good. It was alright. Yeah.
But it's puerile humour, but it's just trying to be funny. It's got nothing gross in there. I mean, it is the connotations of blasting somebody's clothes off with magic are stupid, but it's also semi-funny in the right setting. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. And also just an actual useful spell. If you want to disarm somebody, I mean, that's pretty good. But it's like you say, there's nothing explicitly wrong with doing something like that. But it's almost never done in a decent or interesting way.
No, you got to take yourself a bit less.
Because the fucking Encyclopedia of Erotic Fantasy, or whatever the fuck it was called, it included the gestation periods and what creature would come out if two different monsters boned each other. And I'm like, well, that's actually kind of useful, because if you get a dungeon that's populated by hobgoblins and bugbears, at some point they're going to get bored, right?
Yeah.
What comes out? A bug goblin, a hog bear.
I mean, that's quite fun for making your own bestiary, isn't it?
But it's things you might actually use at a push. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
This is nothing. This is
You
worse
can't
than
use
nothing.
any of it.
You can't use any of it because you'll go to jail, and also it's just not that useful. I like one with a cheeky aspect or one that's actually useful, and this isn't one of those.
No.
And in fact, they so rarely come up. That's the trouble. And you think there'll be a lot of coming up. All right, let's do some electro letters then, lads.
Okay.
In the future, you will be able to send a letter or parcel from anywhere on the planet. This, sir, is the electro letter.
My phone's just told me to turn the volume down on my phone.
Yeah, good.
Yeah, bad. Right, so yeah, that was a terrible thing. Let's do some of your questions in electro letters. So the first one comes in from Gugurg. He says, I want to steal your guest BBEG idea. Any tips on how to do it well? For those that don't know what a BBEG is, it's a bit like Queequeg,
What's a Queequeg?
but BBEG.
Oh, okay.
Big bad evil guy, it means. So we talked about, and it wasn't my idea, it was an idea I stole, but to have somebody guest and play the big bad for a night and a big battle, right? And he says, any tips on how to do it well? And I did mention at the time, so it was during the Deadlands campaign, and to include my wife for a change, and I know that she's incredibly competitive, I got her to come in and play a big spider monster and try and fuck the whole party up. And she, of course, took it very seriously and tried to really just genuinely out and out kill people. And if you want a brutal, no holds barred fight, this is the best way to do it.
Well, as long as you know that person would do anything within their power just to fuck people up.
And also, like, they know that they're acting like, say, like a spider.
Yeah, but the thing is, it's not going to be biased because they don't give a fuck about any of the characters, any of the backstory. They're just going to kill and do it
And it's
wantonly.
it's like a different AI in a game.
That's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
And to be honest, tips on doing it well, just that it's just to understand the right placement of a use of it. Because it has to be, if it's the end of a campaign or the end of a big arc or something like this, that's where it's got to be used because it's going to be fucking brutal. You can't really prime the person. You just say, look, here's your abilities and this is what you've got to do. And that way, it's probably going to be one of the most fair fights you've ever done. But it's not going to be easy. I don't think there are any real good ways to do it. It's just, it's going to be harsh and that's that. Yeah. But it wasn't actually a tip I got that I made up. It's one from Hankerin Fernale. The writer of ICRPG did a stream where he talked about monster AIs. And actually, I'd really recommend watching that video because he talks about a number of ways of doing it, like flow charts and complete randomness and things like this. And the example he uses is a beholder, and he's saying just roll for every attack randomly. Now, bear in mind there are some that can just instantly kill you or turn you to stone. He's like, it's gonna be fucked up. It might either be really easy or really hard, but yeah.
Imagine that, you'd be hated forever.
Yeah, definitely.
If the dice gods decided, no, the players are going to die today.
And in fairness, one of our players did not like it when I brought my wife in to play that.
Oh, yeah, he got real pissed.
Because he thought I just brought her on to kill people, which really was her job. She was playing a monster.
Yeah, and
I mean, and it is.
She did kind of pick on them.
He was closest.
Yeah,
that was literally all it is.
Yeah,
and she's the one playing it. I can't say anything.
Yeah.
So
unfortunate for you as well, because obviously we know historically that if you could brought Millie into one of those situations, you're favoured on because you're the husband. But as you're the GM, then there's no favour towards you because she's just playing against the rest of us.
She hates.
I'm feeling that like this is coming again soon.
Yeah.
Well, this play type.
Yeah,
get million. Oh, you know what? Because I've got all made this terrain and stuff for MCC. I did say, mostly we're going to do Theatre of the Mind or use vinyl battle map or whatever. But sometimes I might use the terrain for a big battle, and I think that would be fun. Just to referee the game for one evening, have her play the bad guys, you guys play the good guys. Although I don't know who the situation would be, but you would.
Wouldn't be.
You would be fuck. It wouldn't be fun, but it would. But that's not the point.
That'd be like
work would be harder.
It'll be grueling. because it would be like everything we know is how to play the game. We'd have to throw out the window and be like, right now, how do we play against her?
How do we play against her? Because she's really competitive and loves killing players. Like, so a few times she's GM'd.
Yeah, it was a case of she still would have the mentality of I'm going to beat you and win.
Yeah, she would though. She would. She definitely would.
Fuck you up.
I'm gonna fuck you up. Yeah, because she tries to win
all the time.
She does. She actually does.
Every time she just sits down, I'm gonna fuck you up.
But she says I win in situations where it was in a competitive situation, and it's like she is a bit like that. Unfortunately, she's like old school Sean GM. The Greg man, he says halflings and dragonborns are likely the names given to these races by either humans or elves, depending on how you look at history. I mean, really, why would a halfling call themselves a halfling? Half to what? What do you think these races actually call themselves? The obvious answer is that halflings, they call themselves hobbits.
Yeah.
But
talking to your microphone, Sean.
Yeah. Well, a halfling covers a few different, like the hobbits, river folk, things like that.
Yeah, but river folk are just river hobbits.
Yeah, they're all hobbits.
Yeah,
they're all hobbits.
But that's why, I mean, even they call them, say river folk. I mean, that's not that bad. But halfling
is like almost derogatory, isn't it?
Yeah. River folk is just you just live.
I think that they had to change it from Hobbit because that was obviously
it's a license.
Yeah, like the book is called The Hobbit. You can get away with orc because that's buried within the text. But, I mean, that's the obvious answer. But dragonborn. So it's like a dragon has sex with a woman, which don't think about it, but it's probably disgusting. And out comes a dragonborn, right?
So it's
a man comes out of an egg and he's got a dragon. So but that's probably what people called him. But what do dragonborn call themselves? Or what do dragons call these, half castes? Can't say that nowadays. Mixed race. Yeah, or half dragons. Or scalies.
Yeah, half dragons.
Hadragons.
Hugans.
Muckblood.
Dramons. Muckblood. I call them an abomination. No, but
fucked up bloods.
I think scalies or Hugans or Dramons.
Scalies. I feel like scalies is.
That's a bit racist to dragons, I think, isn't it?
No,
that's probably
because not all of them.
That's probably like.
Yeah, it's just dragonborns. Knife ears for elves, yeah. Yeah, but we've got to come up with an answer though, man. Like, what would dragonborn people call themselves?
I reckon they just call themselves something like humans with armour.
No, they probably would.
Humanly challenged.
I think they
genetically
better.
Diverse.
No, it's quite simple.
Genetically better.
It's quite simple to just call themselves dragonborn.
Yeah, I reckon they would.
Yeah.
Well, no, maybe they'd be like...
Because that is like differentiating.
But what would you call yourself in real life? You call yourself mixed race?
Fire human.
Fire
boy. There you go, something like that.
Fire boys.
Fire lad.
Fire lad. There you go.
More fire crew.
The more fire crew.
Oh, they're that more fire crew.
Pistachio, cultist of Sean, he says, question... I hate this guy. I hate this guy already.
No, he's cool.
He says, question, since you twats are British and all that, have you played much RuneQuest? Seems popular with you lot. And it is. It's really popular in this country, but I've never even read it or know what it's about. Sorry.
No, same.
Anyone else?
I've seen like the word somewhere. That's about it.
I've seen Quest and Rune written separately, but together, what would you call it? Probably a fireboy or something.
Yeah, fire lad.
I've played RuneScape.
Shut up. Owen the Greg Magician, he says, which RPG would you... What? Shut up. Which RPG world do you think you guys would survive the longest in? Which one will you die the quickest?
Or IRL?
Yeah. So you're suddenly, it's like one of those thousands of animes with the same plot. You're ported into an RPG world. Which one could you survive in the longest?
I would. I'm sorry. I'm going to steal it first, just because I feel like this plays in every of those anime types. But I do feel like fantasy. I probably survive the longest because I feel like I'd understand the mechanics more, therefore know to gear up loads and loads to.
That's a good point. Like that day one, you get a job, you get some money, hire some hirelings, maybe some fireboys in there,
you, and then
get them down, send them down a dungeon to get you a couple of magic items.
Yeah.
But you see, in Konosuba, for example, which is that same plot, he does that because he's a nerd and he knows video games. So that's what he does. He spends ages leveling up, doing his like wood cutting skills to like gets his strength up, and then goes down a dungeon. So yeah, I think that's a good answer.
I did have the same thought, but then I realised that like even though we're sort of naturals at like, you know, thinking outside of the box for fantasy, there is one problem with all of this. We're not that hard.
That's what we're saying. We would go in and we'd spend a long time leveling up before going down there.
Because if you had that world to live in, then presumably you'd have the ability to learn the new skills,
game
get
system
the magic,
as well,
all the stuff like that. Right?
I'm sending hirelings down there. I'm not going down there myself.
Just go to the pub,
So,
get some guys.
I reckon if it's just proper flat real life, don't have any of the abilities of anything, I honestly think in fantasy world I'd die first.
Out of all of us.
No, just in general, as in like I wouldn't survive long, because if you don't have the abilities of people in those.
Oh, like if you were as you are now.
Yeah, we just get fucked, innit? You'd arrive, someone would just be like, whoop, magic, dead.
But we'd know what to do in a world like that. We'd accept the easy quests.
I reckon we could just wait until like basically
just move out of Arkham. You'd probably be alright.
I did think that, but at the same time, it's like. Yeah, it's around every corner. There's something that will make you go insane.
No, but also the end of every Call of Cthulhu campaign is huge and cataclysmic, and a big monster comes out, and that you could be in a different country entirely and get fucked by that.
Just wait for that though. We'll be alright till then.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. I suppose you could say it depends on how long it's going to be, but in my experience, not that long.
Give it like 2 years. Like everything's popping off in Arkham, everyone's dying, but 2 years, the world's.
I'll go Vampire the Masquerade. I get turned into a vampire, survive for fucking ages.
Oh, that's quite good.
Jobless.
How about Maid RPG? Just do everything to appease the.
You could die quite easily in that though. But yeah, not if you're sucking off the master. But you can die quite easily in that. Depends on the mode that you're playing. But if you went full chaos and suddenly got hit by a nuke, that could just happen out of nowhere. Do you know what I mean? So we'll go fantasy because we know it well enough.
I feel like
Shadowrun is also a good one as well. Just get a job, just work a normal life.
Yeah.
That's actually one you could just blend in.
Just work as a barista.
You actually could fully blend into that.
You could just live there like it's a normal day.
Just become an NPC. Oh, you could do all of them.
Yeah.
Become an NPC.
It's sort of similar to Croydon in sort of crime levels, but I mean.
Well, what? Because of all the different races, like trolls and that. Sean, you're such a fucking racist.
No, not really. It's just
becoming an NPC is the best way to survive. But in which world are you most likely to be killed as an NPC?
Oh, yeah.
And I reckon fantasy's got to be high up because the amount of fights that happen in bars.
Fantasy's proper high up. Cthulhu's high up.
You'd be sitting there in a fantasy campaign, and a bunch of really annoying player characters would come in and just fucking beat you up for a laugh because you didn't give them a discount.
Yep.
So you'd need to pick a good job.
So don't own a general store.
Don't own a general store. Don't go to pubs. Probably don't be a hireling.
Maybe farming, because you're always providing, and if they kill you off,
players will come to the farmhouse and request large plates of food.
And make fun of your accent.
Yeah, and be like, oh, do. I reckon Shadowrun's got to be the one. Become an NPC in Shadowrun because it's dangerous, but only really for that corporate world. As long as you become a barista or work in McDonald's.
Yeah, but like even those guys get like screwed over.
They might do, but fucking Cafe Nero is much less likely to be involved in the corporate war than say fucking Santander or ING.
Yeah, but like I mean, I suppose the worst you get is like some angry Karen throwing your coffee like.
Like Karen player character, like your character Sledge, for example, might have grabbed a coffee and just been like, "That's for a fucking Lonnie."
No, Sledge wouldn't. He's.
You call this a cappuccino?
He was quite nice. He
what a crappuccino!
I wouldn't say he was a nice guy, but he wasn't like.
No, he wasn't mean.
No.
Right, yeah, become an NPC in Shadowrun. Kill the Gregses. He says, thoughts on the age-old groggy argument that the thief ruined D&D. People say having dedicated skills makes players focus too much on their sheet / took away from the other classes' options on what they could or couldn't try to do, like can my fighter even try to pick the lock? Others say that codifying a way to do something mechanically was smart and made stuff less arbitrary to settle. Personally, I like it, and I think Lamentations of the Flame Princess elegantly ironed out that issue for old school basic D&D with a D6 skill system.
It did not. But
I actually really dislike the Lamentations one. It's simple, but I find it too simple. It's too simple, and it's way too slow to level up.
It's very strange because you got like a quite low skill pool, but all of the skills, like there's like a couple that are really essential, and then there's some that are just like straight up weird.
Well, they're very close to each other, aren't they?
But like
the pool. So it's like you never feel like you specialise in anything.
And the idea that you just get exactly. What is it? You get, is it 2 dots to spend at character creation, then you never earn any more? That to me is really fucking weird. Or at least it doesn't include rules for earning more. And I know a lot of players house rule that stuff, but it's like that's kind of shit, actually. And I actually think, and sorry to suck your dick here, Killed the Gregses, but. I actually think that you did it best in Cyber Sprawl Classics, where it was just this flat security role, and that's it, like simple as that. Yeah. It encompasses a big range of things. It just means you're better at it than other people. I think it's Cyber Sprawl Classics where he does that.
Yeah,
I think it is. Yeah. And I know that's included in MCC as well with the Rover class, where it's like, I think it's the Rover. Fucking on my memory. But anyway, like that flat bonus is a lot better. And I feel like the Lamentations one is elegant in a certain way, but it's lacking in a lot of other ways. I don't think it ruined D&D, not at all. I think that a fighter can try and pick a lop. Absolutely can.
Anyone can try, you know.
Yeah, but you're not going to receive the same bonuses that a thief is.
Yeah, it's just specialised. Because I think over time we've learnt that you try your best in any situation. Like sometimes when, say for instance, Harrison will call out and be like, "Oh, do me a favour, rather smarts for this," and everyone will go, "Oh, actually, can we do it?" And be like, "Yeah, actually, everyone have a go." And
or
then
everyone
that just
can help.
Everyone gets like either a turn or an assistance to help bolster that person.
Because it can even be the same as the fighter can be handing him the right tools as he's picking the lock. Simple as that. Like he knows enough to get by in that regard. Like I don't know. The only thing is, I think in old school D&D it was a percentage, right? And that's a little bit more difficult to go, okay, what percentage does the fighter have without just bullshitting something? Do you know what I mean? Yeah. But you could say that, I don't know, they have a 10th or a 5th or whatever, or they have a fraction based on their level. I don't know. Nowadays it's much easier with games that have more robust and more like centralized mechanics, where it's like you can easily come up with a rule for somebody who's not a specialized person at it but can try it. Just like I don't know, like fucking ICRPG is one that does it very well because it has the basic effort mechanic where everything sort of works like by you know, you in a game like that you usually roll to hit and then you roll damage, and everything works in that same manner. So you roll a check and then you see if you hit it, and then if you do, you're then working down the quote-unquote HP of the lock, right? And the thing is, if you're a thief, you can level up the basic effort. It starts at a D4 and you can keep adding bonuses and bonuses and bonuses. It means that you're going to be able to unlock that 10 HP lock much quicker than anyone else. But the fighter can still do it, he's only got D4 effort. And you could even go, okay, he's smashing it with his fist or whatever. But still, like, anyone can try it. It just depends on how good you are at it, and at varying levels. I don't think it ruined D&D at all. In fact, I think it just meant that here's what this class can do, because if all you could do was just sneak up and stab people, it would be kind of dull.
I feel like it also just allowed players at the table to work more collaboratively. Because imagine if you were fucking jack of all trades, you'd be like, I literally don't need you. Like, I'm just going to do everything. Piss off. Yeah, you could have some players like that.
And DCC has a really basic, elegant way of doing it, where it's just like, if it's linked to your job that you got a character creation, roll a d20. If it's not, roll a d10. Simple as that.
Yeah, I really enjoyed that.
Because that's simple. DCC. Anyone could try anything. You could get even boost up your way up the dice chain by doing certain shit. Yep. Yeah. Sean, what are your thoughts? Basically agree with everything James said?
No, like, I think that, you know, it's it's just like you said, anyone can try anything, but you just gotta, you know, I mean, it's gonna be easy for a thief to like bam open a door, like pick it open, but a fighter might try and like chop at it, like barge it or some stuff. But you know, like you could be like a jack of all trades, but you're not gonna be very good at
So you're basically saying you agree with everything we said. Nice. I also think that roles in dungeon crawling games are important. That's just not roles as in rolling the dice. That's more important, if anything. But having your assigned roles where people do stuff, if it does mean that a fighter really cannot attempt security stuff, I'm still sort of okay with that anyway.
Yeah, I agree with that too, because you in any kind of scenario like that, especially at the table, you need people to work together, because what are we all doing? We're contributing to the same story, and we're trying to make it inclusive. And an easy way to make it inclusive is to have a diverse set of characters where they have to collectively work together to achieve the goal.
But there's always been this argument where people say, "Oh, but you need to have one of this class, one of this class, one of this class to be a good team." It's like, you don't.
No,
you could have a team.
Depends what you're doing.
Yeah, you could have a team of all fighters, right? But
Yeah.
you go down a dungeon. That just means you're not the type of team that picks locks.
Yeah.
End of story. It doesn't matter.
You can have different variations of the fighters where, for instance, because you can have a fighter who's decided to gain the skill of lockpicking. Because, in most games you can have the ability to gain feats or whatever it is.
Multi-class as well.
Yeah. And so you can have all the same, but all the initial, say, standardised, stereotypical party made up of different classes and all that jazz, that just means it's more rounded, and you can start doing dungeons and ticking off loads of areas a lot quicker and efficiently, I think.
But then also, having a party where that's not the case can be a good laugh.
Yeah.
At the moment, we've got no healer on the team in MCC.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, and that's deadly
laugh.
as fuck.
Right, we've got one last question from Pistachio Cultist of Sean. He says,
What's up?
He says, do dungeons belong in a sci-fi themed RPG?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. And that is it for today's episode. No.
Good.
He says, or is it an unnecessary anachronism?
No.
I was recently looking at anomalous subsurface environment,
Good.
and I was thinking about how well it would fit into a game like MCC.
An anonymous
Anomalous subsurface environment. So it's what he's talking
like a ship or something.
something underground.
So anomalous subsurface environment specifically is a mega dungeon. A very good one, actually. And it's an anomalous subsurface environment suddenly turns up somehow beneath the surface of whatever world you're in. And it would be perfect for MCC, but it also can turn any fantasy campaign really into a sci-fi one. But yeah, dungeons absolutely have a place, man.
I think dungeons have a place in anything, because I think there's as much as we say, for instance, regardless of what we're playing right now, as a group, if we're just above town and just sort of playing out day-to-days, doing a lot of downtime, there's nothing more fun than having a section where you can delve deep into something and explore
try
an
and
area
look for shit to nick and kill people.
Somehow
Kill
dungeons, like in that sense that you said, like always end up in games anyway.
Well,
so-
because in Tough Guys, even in the adventure that's included in the book, there's a section where you fight your way through a warehouse. And in Yakuza Like a Dragon, for example, there's the sewers, which is a bit of a ham-fisted way of doing it. But then there's also parts where you're going to an enemy gang's office building that they own and making your way up it, fighting all these goons.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, I mean, look at fucking Warrior King, right? If that was broken down, that one camera shot segment, that's a fucking dungeon.
I mean,
in terms of the manner in which it plays,
Yeah,
right?
it's a dungeon crawl, but you're going up the levels.
Derelict spaceship, or even just a regular spaceship that you're docking and then taking over, that's a dungeon crawl, because you're going to be
technically-
going through fighting all the crew, right?
Technically,
Yeah,
even in
yeah,
Call
exactly.
of Cthulhu, when you're just doing some research and, say, for instance, just going down the tunnels, you're not necessarily battling against monsters, but you're dungeon crawling to try and find information.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's all the manner of how you see it, isn't it? I mean, I think all games, not all, but like a lot of games include them just not calling them that
Yeah.
sort of thing.
And I think they definitely have a place, because it's always...
Think about any fucking major sci-fi thing that's ever come out, right? Even I don't really like sci-fi stuff, I'm sorry to say. Even though MCC is a brand of sci-fi, which I like, but District 9 is one of my favourite films, and that bit where he eventually gets the alien blasters and that, and he's running through the fucking weapons company to like ripping people up left, right, and centre. That's a dungeon.
It's always like a test of your skill and your a test of like the party as a whole, isn't it? So it's
Yeah,
like,
and that comes up in a lot of games.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it has a place, especially in sci-fi, especially because fucking Star Wars has things that could be deemed that, you know, fucking other sci-fi things. Dune, I've never read it or seen it, but it probably does, I'd imagine.
Sci-fi is something like fantasy you can mess with a bit, like, so there's a bit of leniency on lore and stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, and if you ask me, way too much, and that's why it's mostly shit.
It depends.
Star Trek Next Generation, good. Star Wars, awful.
Futurama's good.
Futurama's great, but that's because it uses the trope of being able to do absolutely anything in sci-fi.
Yeah.
I mean, Next Generation was good because it was almost like it was the thinking man sci-fi.
Yeah, but it was also funny as well.
Unintentionally, sometimes. Normal Star Trek was more funny than Next Generation was.
Oh, okay, yeah.
But yes.
The answer is yes.
The answer is yes. Definitely yes.
Yeah.
Hundo. We've got one last question. It comes from Lamp Plant.
Joe.
Lamp Plant Screen Table. And he says, Sean, what the fuck was up with all of that stuff earlier when you were saying about like conspiracies and that? Completely unprompted.
I just, you know, it's like, well, you got to say stuff, you know, you got to speak up, you know. What if, you know, that guy who invented the room, he didn't speak up, you know, like...
the guy who invented the room? Like the first Neanderthal that ever put a door on something? Is that what you're talking about?
No, like, you know, what's his name? Donny Trellbeck or whatever his name
Tommy
is.
Wiseau.
That's it.
And I think that when when you say somebody's written a film, do you usually call it invented?
No, not really. But
Sean, can you fucking stop doing that, please?
but yeah, it made it sound better.
Shut up, Sean!
Alright, I guess that's the end of my talking bit.
Good.
Shall we do the outro? Thank you for your questions, everyone. They were fantastic this time, of course.
No, they were quite good.
Yep, they're really good. I hope you enjoyed the, or disjoyed the
I hope you disjoyed the main subject.
Yeah, I didn't really... Yeah. No, I loved the main... No,
right,
I mean...
No, shut up. Let's save this for the outro.
We're not talking to you, Sean.
We're not talking to you, Sean. We're talking to the audience, innit?
Audience, yeah.
Right.
Hi, this is Tommy Wiseau, creator of The Room. Let me introduce you to the new Joker.
Let's do the outro.
That's the alarm.
Exactly. That's the alarm. Sound the alarm. If you'd like to get in contact with us, Google our name, 3TRPG.
Wait a minute.
podcast.
Before we do the contact details, Sean, have you had a nice birthday?
Yeah, it's been good. Like,
do you feel like James mocked you a bit with that quiz?
Yeah, a little bit.
Look, it wasn't all my idea.
Also,
no, because you were the one that gave the answers.
Also,
so really, it's your fault.
The loud, sudden noises. Like, I like noises, but it has to be...
like noises.
It has to be...
That's the best contribution. That's probably the most divisive thing you've said all podcast.
It has to be on my terms, though, innit?
I like noises. For example, the time when you pretended that there was a bird in your locker in the swimming pool.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah,
and
you got me with that.
James believed me, yeah.
Is there? Sean went, do the noise. And James was like, Sean was like, there's a bird in my locker. And James was like, is there? We were children at the time, to be fair.
Yeah.
Well, like, almost adults, I'd say.
Shut up, you were, because you're vastly older than us.
Yeah, you're 4 years
vastly
older.
Older.
You are vastly
4 years
Sean,
older.
you're so close to being 40 now, it's unbelievable.
Yeah, so are you.
And you're still a fucking weeb. Anyway, Sean, if you got any last... As it's your birthday, I'll let you do a sign-off before we do the contact.
Alright, so...
Shut up. Alright, James, contact info.
Alright, so contact info, 3trpgpod@gmail.com. You can just look us up on all the socials. We're on the Facebook, we're on the Twitborg, we're on the Instaface, and we're also, if you'd like to, check us out on Patreon. Donate some money to us because we definitely would appreciate it. You know, you've got to pay for our food and electricity and all that shit. And lastly but not leastly, check out Drive-Thru RPG, 3T RPG Publishing.
You're lucky because I had to stop doing the noises at the last minute there because the app came up with an advert.
That's perfect timing then.
Alright, well, I've been Harrison Hunt.
Yeah, I've been Sean Hunt.
He jumped right in there, didn't he? I've been James Clark.
And remember that D20s are cool, but 20Ds, now that's a good time.